Hey yo, what's going on guys? SacredFlame here with another Battle Cats video, and today we're going to be reviewing the Elemental Pixies in 5 minutes or less. Let's get into it. Before we continue along with the video, I would just like to say that everything said in this video is my own personal opinion. Nature's Guardian Elemental Pixies is a non-fast Uber pool, which means it's highly recommended to only roll this pool using cat food if there is a guaranteed Uber. This set currently contains 5 Ubers, which are Bora, Mizli, Air, Volley, and Gravy. This set also contains its own legend rare, Lumina. Bazabon is just your typical anti-alien Uber. He does have half decent crowd control potential, but all his other stats are mediocre at best. Against aliens, he has about 200,000 effective HP, and while his 390 range does allow him to outrange most starred and unstarred aliens, it leaves him vulnerable against Lesolas. He is viable in early into the future and Cats of the Cosmos, but he starts to fall off late game, which means he has a very brief time to shine. While his true form Bazabastra does give him a much needed stat boost, it's still only recommended to use him in Cats of the Cosmos and into the future, since in any other stage his health is abysmal. Overall, Bazabon is a okay Uber for early to mid game players, but for late game players I wouldn't recommend it. Merimizu is basically a better version of Bazabon. Their stats are pretty similar, although she has 6k more attack but slightly less health. More noticeably, she has an extra 10 range, which allows her to occasionally get a hit on Lesola, which can be very useful at times. Her main gimmick is a guaranteed chance to knock back and slow aliens, which can be situationally good and bad, since you wouldn't want to use her on stage with a strong backline such as Space Fish Jones, as it will result in your army getting instantly obliterated from existence. Merimizu is overall a pretty good Uber if you know how to use her correctly. Volta is definitely the best elemental pixie. Despite his short range at 370, he has a guaranteed chance to freeze enemies for 3 seconds. While he does not have the best damage, he's designed to be a supporting Uber, so that does not really matter. His true form Giga Volta does provide him with a stat boost, which makes him slightly more tanky and able to dish out more DPS. However, it also provides his freeze with a buff, now allowing him to freeze for 3.66 seconds, which means if you have 2 of them, you can basically perma-freeze any alien. Volta is definitely an extremely good Uber, which has a role in all of Into the Future and Cats of the Cosmos. Earthuan is a very strange Uber, not because it has a weird ability, but because it has no ability. It's basically a worse version of Bazabon, since against aliens it deals 6 times less damage. Its only redeeming quality is that it outranges Lesola, making it the only elemental pixie to be able to consistently break Lesola's barrier. Its true form Eventa gives it an extra 14k health as well as an extra 4k damage. While this seems like a good true form, it's an LD unit able to hit enemies from 650 range. It doesn't need extra health, which renders its true form basically useless. Earthwine definitely needs some buffs before it can even be remotely considered a half-decent Uber. Gravola is a really interesting Uber. He's your standard tank, but he also has a guaranteed chance to produce a level 3 shockwave. While this might not seem like much, it does allow him to clear peons much easier. However, it is recommended to not use him on stages which have a really strong backline, as it could result in the backliners wiping out your army. A lot of people think Gravola is bad due to his low damage and short range. His low damage is actually pretty good if you account for the damage dealt by his waves. Although he has 230 range, it doesn't really matter since he's a tank which you would want at the front of your army. Even though he can't outrange Lesola, due to his high health and low knockbacks, Gravola can consistently break Lesola's barrier, since his waves also inflict barrier breaker. Lumina is a legend rare, so she is obviously good. She's an extremely tanky unit with about 900k EHP against aliens if you max out the treasures. She also has a 100% chance to weaken aliens by 50%, which makes her a really good supporting unit for your army. Overall, the elemental pixies are good to roll if you are Into the Future or early Cats of the Cosmos. After that, they tend to fall off a bit, although some of them can be used throughout all of Cats of the Cosmos. Anyways, that brings us to the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!